This conference will now be recorded.
All right, folks. So I do appreciate you all attending this evening, and thank you for, this is going to be our first of 2 lectures that will be on the reproductive system. This evening, we're going to begin with the male reproductive system. Next week, 1 week from today, we will continue on with the female reproductive system. So I hope that this is very informative to you all. I provided notes for you as well as the PowerPoint. And this evening, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the time to review the PowerPoint with you all. I mean, the notes with you all, and show a few images from the PowerPoint. But you have all of these to access and to use as far as for your studies for this chapter. So this will be new material. So again, remember that test number 4 is on digestive and urinary systems. Test number 4, the review we'll do for that will be on Thursday of this week. Digestive and urinary systems. Reproductive system is all new information on the final exam. So the final exam will be cumulative from the beginning of this semester to the end, and the new information that will be going over will be the reproductive system, reproductive anatomy, as well as reproductive physiology. So as we look at the reproductive system overall, in general, we're looking at containing the gonads and the external genitalia for male and female. The gonads we would consider for the male would be the testes, for the female, the ovaries. The gonads produce the gametes, the sex cells, cells, right? So you're looking at here as far as the gametes are the sperm and the ovum. The ova would be plural, the ovum singular, also known as the oocyte, oocyte. Okay? The ducts that are present, so there are the oviducts, there is the vas deferens. There are different tubes that will contain and will transport the gametes so that they have the opportunity to, upon coitus, to meet each other and fertilize the sperm, to fertilize an egg, the ovum, and produce a zygote, which will then continually rapidly divide and become a child, right? So really pretty remarkable. So we have these gonads, these organs that are going to produce the gametes, the external genitalia, which will allow for the sexual intercourse, coitus, to take place and allow for then the possible fertilization of the ovum. The ducts will carry these gametes, and the accessory glands and organs that will secrete fluids into the mixture and to enable fertilization to take place, right? So they would be pro-fertilization. So when we look at, as far as the gametes, the sperm and the ovum, we realize that they have half the number of chromosomes. So we would say that they are haploid, right? So they each contain, right, 23 chromosomes. When they come together, this forms a complete, right, pair of 23 chromosomes, or we would say diploid. Okay, so the cells of the body, other than the gametes, contain 2 pairs of 23 chromosomes, right? And so that is a production as far as mitosis is concerned, or mitotic division, in order to form the cells of the body. The gametes, this would be meiosis and meiotic division, okay? So those gonads, they're not only just forming the gametes, but they're also forming hormones. So understand that these special hormones that are present, these chemical messengers produced by the gonads, will enable and understand that we have both of these hormones present, male and female. We have these hormones present, but really understand that the androgens for the testes, right? These are precursors towards testosterone and estrogen, and so know that these are the androgens are the male hormones, right? Masculinizing hormones, in particular testosterone, what makes a male. Ovaries produce the estrogens and progesterone, and the estrogens are really the feminizing hormones, okay? And know that progesterone, really this, in addition to estrogen, will contribute to the ability to, my little doggy came in here. You got her? No. Here, bring her over here for 1 second. Let me just say hello to everybody. All right, folks. So here you can see little Dodie. Say hi, Dodie. There we go. Little peanut. She's a permanent puppy. She's fully grown, and I don't think she's more than like 6 pounds. So where we are. Oh yeah. So so progesterone is a thanks, Megan. Progesterone it really is pro-pregnancy. And so we're going to see when we look at the female reproductive system how we're going to be talking in detail regarding the ovarian and uterine cycles. And you'll see how there will be peaks, there will be spikes in hormones and drops in hormones. And certain things will happen when we have a spike in a hormone or a drop in a hormone regarding the release of the egg, of the ovum, as well as the beginning of menstruation. Okay, so, and I'm also going to be make mention of and share with you all regarding sexually transmitted infections. Okay, most important cause of reproductive disorders, folks. And I've seen this in my own, not my own personal family with my children, but my extended family. I have seen folks who have ended up getting an STI, becoming infected with a sexually transmitted infection. We used to say STDs, sexually transmitted disease, and end up developing into pelvic inflammatory disease. And I'm thinking of one relative in particular who is infertile as a result and was never able to have children on her own, and quite sad. What I'd like to do right now is, because I just mentioned about the hormones, would be to, I'm going to go to the end of my note packet here. And I just want to go, because I'm going to show you, here we go, good. So secondary sex characteristics. So for male and for female, as far as what would lead to, so here we go, lead to the non-reproductive, features induced in non-reproductive organs by male sex hormones, right? And so these male secondary sex characteristics begin at puberty and will continue on as far as, so, appearance of pubic, axillary, and facial hair, enhanced growth of chest hair, a deepening of the voice. So this would actually be a change in the thickening of the vocal cords, okay? Skin thickens and becomes oily. Bones grow, they increase in density. Skeletal muscles increase in size and mass. There's a boost in the basal metabolic rate. So just the metabolic rate of how the body is functioning, and so so a younger man and a younger female also, I mean, they both have this increased basal metabolic rate, this BMR. You're able to eat less, eat more, and still not gain weight per se. Whereas as time goes on, and I'm 56 right now and going on to 57 next month, yeah, it's just your BMR. I work hard to try and do what I can, and it's difficult, you know, as far as exercising. So the BMR has dropped. Basis of sexual drive, the libido in males, these male secondary sex characteristics. For females, appearance of pubic and axillary hair, growth of breasts, increase of deposition of the subcutaneous fat, the hips and the breasts. Also a widening of the pelvis in order to allow for you know, the birthing process, the ability to have children. Know that really with both of these also at puberty, the hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, these are all involved in also helping the maturation of the sexual organs present within. Okay, so importantly, you need to know that, please. So let's now go back to male reproductive system. There we go. So most closely associated with the urinary system, and you're going to see that the urethra, right, will have multiple areas. We'll say the prostatic urethra, membranous urethra, and the spongy urethra, aka the penile urethra. This is in addition to the vas deferens, which is a tube network, so also the urethra, which is a tube, which the urinary system and the reproductive system will use in order to convey the ejaculate to the female anatomy and such, as far as the reproductive anatomy. So interesting how both systems are being used. These tubes are being used, and you'll see here as far as you'll see, let's see here. So the epididymis is the area where sperm is actually allowed to mature. Quite interesting, folks, right? This epididymis is not a very large structure, and yet it is a large structure. It doesn't appear to be let's put it this way, it doesn't appear to be a large structure yet, at approximately 20 feet long and really twisted and coiled. It will store the sperm once it's been produced by the testes and allow for them to mature approximately 20 days, less than a month. And let me show you an image of, let's go. So let me go here, here, and here we go. As far as you're seeing here, the testes contained within the scrotum. We have here then, so the sperm is produced here, and then it's released into the epididymis. Look at that area there, folks. That is not a large area, okay? And it's all coiled though. It's all coiled, approximately 20 feet long. Then we have, where does the mature sperm actually, can they be released? Into the vas deferens, right? And then here we have called the seminal vesicle. So we have structures that are going to now contribute to the ejaculate, okay? So we have seminal vesicles, paired. We have the bulbourethral gland, which would be right here, thank you. And then we have here the prostate gland right there. So we have three structures here, here, and here that will contribute to the ejaculate and really help to maintain the sperm as far as via nutrition, and also maintaining an environment that will allow them to stay alive as long as possible in order to possibly have one of them reach the ovum in order to allow for fertilization to occur. You'll see here that also we have here the urinary bladder, and so here's that urethra, okay? So we have here the prostatic urethra, because here's the prostate gland. Here we have the membranous urethra. Is only this short area right here. So prostatic, membranous is only right here. And then we have the penile urethra, aka I apologize. The spongy urethra, yeah, correct. So you see here as far as prostatic, membranous, and spongy, aka penile urethra, right? We have here the corpus cavernosum would be the area of the penis that actually has the tissue that would be analogous to the clitoris for the female, okay? This is erectile tissue right here, the corpus cavernosum. The spongiosum will allow, so even when the penis is erect, it will still allow for the tissue, the urethra, to be maintained open, right? So that will be not be compressed in any manner to allow for the ejaculate to exit the male reproductive system, okay? You're also seeing here as far as we have here colon and such, so sigmoid, and so we have here the rectum and the anal canal, and these are sphincters, right? Okay. Oh, and you know, let me turn one more image here, because this is just giving you, so that's giving you the lateral view. So let's give you the A to P view. And so we're seeing here as far as interesting, and this is a good image to show you the seminiferous tubules, right? These are the area where spermatogenesis occurs and the production of sperm. Here again would be the epididymis, and then here we have that vas deferens. And so then we have the seminal vesicles right here, vas deferens, prostate gland, and then here would be the penis and the urinary bladder right there. And here are the ureters that bring urine to urinary bladder. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's exit here and come back to the notes. So again, it's a matter of ducts or tubes. So think of it, a duct is a tube. It's going to transport something. Okay, so during ejaculation, the epididymis will contract, sending the sperm to the vas deferens. Okay, the epididymis, storage, approximately 20 feet long, maturation of the sperm, and they're going to then enter into the vas deferens. Vas deferens is a tube, okay, so approximately 18 inches long. Strong muscular tube contracts with ejaculation, okay, and into then the ejaculatory duct, okay, which will then bring to the prostatic urethra. Okay, so a vasectomy is a ligation of the vas deferens and a cut, so this cutting and ligating of the ductus deferens, aka the vas deferens, and will then allow for, will not allow for the passage of sperm exiting the body. Now, understand that with the vasectomy, that they would expect that the patient should wait a couple of months in order to have unprotected sex, just to confirm that there's no issues and no connection whatsoever. The tubes can reconnect. Know that over time, that can happen. That does happen. Not all the time, and I don't know the percentage-wise by it, but it can occur. Let's see. And know that so the male can still have, even after a vasectomy, can still have an ejaculation. There just should not be any sperm present, any viable sperm present within the ejaculate, because the ejaculate will be produced by those accessory structures as far as the bulbourethral gland, seminal vesicles, and the prostate gland. So the opening at the head of the penis there would be the urinary meatus, okay, aka also known as the external urethral orifice. Okay? That's what we call that opening, for that would the ejaculate or urine would be exiting male body. Okay, and actually it would also be called that in the female. Okay, spermatic cord is really a combination of, it's a group of structures that would be present in the spermatic cord. So the spermatic cord would contain vas deferens, nerve fibers, blood vessels, as well as lymphatic vessels. Okay? The testes, I said already before, as far as contained in the scrotum. This term's cryptorchidism. This is something where the testicles, the testes do not descend in a child, right? And so this can be a problem. The testes require a cooler environment. And so if they're not, if one, and many times it's only one that's not descended, but bilateral also can occur, both sides, they would do surgical procedure in order to help the testes either remove the testes or enable it to enter into the scrotum, okay? Now, as far as this maintenance of cooler environment for spermatogenesis, for sperm production, it's important that the testes has the ability to adjust the temperature of the scrotum, has the ability to adjust the temperature that the testes are experiencing. So, as such, the dartos and the cremaster muscles are both important for that regulation of temperature. So the cremaster muscle, in the case of, say, so it's cold outside, right? It's very cold, and the male is outside. What would happen to the testes? Well, the testes would be drawn closer to the core of the body, so the cremaster muscle would contract and elevate the testes closer to the core of the body. Whereas the dartos would be have the ability to cause a wrinkling and a closure of the scrotum. Okay, not closure, but just a tightening of the scrotum. That's a better way. Okay. So within each testes, I showed you that image before, these seminiferous tubules are present. This is the site of sperm production, spermatogenesis, right? This is where we're producing sperm. Again, the sperm will then enter into the epididymis, where that's where they will mature, and then upon ejaculation, enter into the vas deferens and out of the body through the urethra. So you'll see here, as far as myoid cells surround each seminiferous tubule, squeeze the sperm and testicular fluids out of the testes. So quite interesting. So you have these different structures that are present. And so you'll see here, as far as from the spermatogenesis, from the production of sperm to the epididymis, these are where sperm are actually passing through. A straight tubule, the red testes, the efferent ductules, right, to the epididymis. That's like the order of structures that are being moved, that the sperm will be moved from beginning to where they're going to mature. Okay. Present within, we said the testes are also involved in production of androgens, right? These are androgens, and testosterone is one of the primary male hormones. Okay, so these are, you have andro, right? This would be the word root for male. So these masculinizing hormones, in particular, primarily testosterone, in response to luteinizing hormone, so LH. So we'll be talking about the importance of luteinizing hormone, in that when that hormone peaks as far as the amount that's present within the female, this will trigger ovulation, the release of the ovum. So know that again, like, so we can see how the different hormones present within the different, whether it's a male or female, will initiate different functions. Okay. Let's see here. And so also you'll see here, as far as these Sertoli cells, right? An AKA also known as sustenocytes, will present within the seminiferous tubules, involved in spermatogenesis, right? And they're activated by follicle stimulating hormone. This FSH, also present in the female, will produce another situation where it'll help to, FSH is produced in order to, and secreted, and its function would be to help to mature, be involved in maturation of the ovum, of the egg, for ovulation to be released, and then possible fertilization. Okay? So these Sertoli cells present within seminiferous tubules, right? They form this, what's called a blood testis barrier. What goes on, and what the bottom line that you need to really get from this is that sperm, right? Because the blood testis barrier is important, because sperm and developing cells produce surface antigens that are recognized as foreign by the immune system. So it would prevent an activation of the immune system by cells that my body is producing. Okay, so this is an important thing. So just as we have the blood-brain barrier, that the astrocytes present within the central nervous system are absolutely, they're in the central nervous system. The blood testis barrier will prevent activation of the immune system by the sperm. Okay, in the interaction between our blood and the sperm. The hypothalamus releases hormone GnRH, right, gonadotropin releasing hormone, which will in turn lead to androgens being produced by the adrenal glands. Okay, without, and also the testes, GnRH and gonadotropins, without them, right, testes will atrophy, sperm and testosterone production ceases. Okay, so we've seen, when we looked at the endocrine system, the importance of hormones being released by the hypothalamus, by the pituitary, in order to then go to target cells and target areas throughout the body that need to also respond to those releasing hormones, and then in turn produce their own hormones and release their own hormones. So really, when you affect the what's taking place as far as the process of each hormone doing its own function to stimulate another organ to release its hormone, and so on and so forth, that's really a problem if we affect this chain of events that occurs within endocrine function. As far as the sperm development, right? So I would prefer that you know that the spermatogonia is where we begin, and the mature spermatid is where we end, until we get to the, so that we have the actual sperm that will be maturing in the epididymis and released into the vas deferens. Okay? The sperm anatomy is very simple, and as far as also understanding that the tail, the flagellum, is the only human cell, male, female, that has a tail, that has a flagellum. We have, yes, we have cilia. We have those cilia present. We have microvilli. They kind of look a little bit like something that might help a cell to move, but really, primarily microvilli are increasing surface area. Cilia are increasing the ability to move substances along the apical surface of a cell, but it's the actual flagellum of the sperm that is actually allowing for motility. We'll see in bacteria, if you're taking microbiology, you'll see that that cilia can actually contribute to, as well as flagellum, can contribute to movement of some type of microorganism. But in the case of, like I said, human anatomy, only the sperm has the tail. The head of the sperm has an acrosome and enzyme present in order to allow for fertilization to occur, to allow to penetration of the membrane of the oocyte, and allow for then fertilization to take place. So I said to you that, and know that the erectile tissue of the penis would be that would be the corpus corpora cavernosa, or cavernosum. Okay, it's also used in other textbooks. This would be important as far as that's the erectile tissue. The spongiosum really will help to form the portions of the head of the penis and such, and allow for, okay, the glans penis, and also, like I said before there, keep the urethra open during an erection and ejaculation. So I use the term ejaculate. You can also use the term semen, and this would be the secretion that the sperm would be that are transported in. Okay, and this semen, this ejaculate, is formed by, again, the seminal vesicles, bulbourethral glands, as well as the prostate gland. Okay, let's see here, and you'll see that interesting how there are present within the secretions, there is a food present for the maintenance of and the nourishment of the sperm, as well as, look at this here, is prostaglandins, and it's a basic solution. So it's not an acidic solution, but where's there an acidic environment? In the female anatomy, there's an acidic environment. So this basic solution present within the ejaculate brings the spermatozoa solution back to a more neutral pH, helping to counteract the female's acidic environment. Quite interesting. And then prostaglandins are present also in order to enable, this is cool stuff, right? In order to cause the female reproductive organs to undergo smooth muscle contractions, which also aids in the propelling of the sperm deeper within the female anatomy in order to reach fallopian tubes, the uterine tubes, in order to allow for fertilization to occur there. All right, the prostate gland also alkaline solution, alkaline secretion, okay, counteracting the acidic environment of the female reproductive system. The Cowper's glands, aka the bulbourethral glands. I didn't give you that term before there. Cowper's is the AKA for the bulbourethral glands. Really, like secretes a pre-ejaculate, okay, thick, clear mucus-like fluid secreted during sexual arousal, serves to lubricate the head of the penis, as well as it's a part, and also to help to clear out the urethra prior to the ejaculate passing through. So it can neutralize any traces of acidic urine. Interesting, right? Recall that urine is around 6.0 pH, a little bit acidic, not a lot acidic. See here, as far as, oh, and then as far as when it comes to the ejaculation for the male, the actual, the erection itself would be the parasympathetic reflex. Sympathetic reflex and sympathetic control would be for the actual ejaculation to occur. Okay, so parasympathetic for the erection, sympathetic for the actual ejaculation. I mentioned to you about testosterone being a masculinizing hormone. Okay. Okay, as far as 3 steps of spermatogenesis, there's mitotic division of spermatogonia, the stem cell for the sperm, right? Then we have meiotic division. So I remember I said to you that meiosis is involved in spermatogenesis, okay? And then the spermiogenesis, we have the spermatids become the sperm, the spermatozoon, the mature sperm. Okay? So you're looking at approximately 2 months, you know, a little bit over 2 months to take place regarding the production of sperm. And again, beginning at puberty. We'll see here as far as BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia. Okay, also primarily it's known as BPH, and you'll see that in progress notes and such. So age-related, as the male gets older, there's a high probability that they can develop this. Okay, this can lead to nocturia. Nocturia is where we have urination at night. Okay, waking at night to void. This can be, again, it's benign, but can it develop into an issue? We have to keep an eye on it and make sure, because it can get pretty bad. Because recall that as you're looking at this image right here, so imagine the prostate gland right here continues to get enlarged. What will happen as far as for the maintenance of the urethra, the prostatic urethra? That can absolutely can cause pressure as it gets larger. It can cause pressure on the urinary bladder, as well as it can affect the ability to void. And you'll see here prostate cancer, right? So this is just as analogous to what takes place as far as in female anatomy, prostatic cancer, and also testicular cancer. These are major cancers, but primarily it's prostatic cancer. If a male lives long enough, he'll develop some type of issue with his prostate gland. It's just a fact. And remember also prostate, not prostrate. Prostrate is a position, prostate is the gland. Okay? Digital exams can be performed, usually males above the age of 50, but can also be done on younger males, especially in the service. All the males will receive a digital exam, and that will be through the anus into the rectum. And if you'll see, so let me show you this again. So why would we do a digital exam here? Well, look what would happen. So if we do a digital exam here, we can palpate the prostate gland through there, right? Through the tissues and such. So, and also PSA, this is a test that's done in order to see different levels as far as at a certain range, whether it's healthy or not healthy, and what goes on. And prostate cancer can be slow growing and slow moving. It's a matter of a lot of times there's observation that occurs and continued testing and observation to see what's going on. Know that treatment can affect, can cause impotence, and treatment can also affect the ability to void on your own, and the need for, so there can be major, issues that can occur as a result of treatment for prostatic cancer, and there are different types of treatment for prostatic cancer, depending upon where you choose to practice in the medical field, you might be involved in knowing more about that, okay? And we already talked about the male and female secondary sex characteristics. And let's see here, I want to show you, yeah, here we go. And so this would be, here just having a better picture and just seeing regarding the different structures and such, and seeing here as far as, so again, recall that I showed you in the note packet there. So let's go back for a moment, just one moment. Yeah, here we go. So see here at the top, so seminiferous tubules to the straight tubule, to the red testes, efferent ductules to the epididymis, right? And so you're seeing here, and I don't know that they're showing you that straight tubule. Yeah. So here you go, the seminiferous tubule. Yeah, here we go, the straight tubules. Okay, let me go back here for a moment. So we have here the seminiferous tubules. We have here the straight tubule to then the red testes, to the efferent ductules, which will lead to then the epididymis, where we will have the storage and the maturation of the sperm. And you're seeing here as far as a cross section of the seminiferous tubules, where you're seeing how we have the immature, the cells are starting here and beginning here as far as spermatogenesis is concerned, and moving out into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule. Okay. Here we have an image representing the sperm. So we have here, this would be the head, the neck, the midpiece, which contains mitochondria. So again, understand that this flagellum, this tail, requires a lot of energy in order to do the motion that it needs to do in order to travel to the ovum. And so as such, mitochondria are producing ATP for that ability to do those function. Okay, very good.